Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my NBA DraftKings picks for Wednesday, December 27th. We got a very nice slate on this Wednesday, a nice 10-game slate, 10 games today. So we do have plenty of players to look at. Not going to try and waste any time. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I would really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and look at point guards today. Up top here at this position, got Russell Westbrook going up against Toronto. Westbrook's 11,200. There is 10 games today, like I said. Plenty of studs we can pay up for. I believe there's like 5 or 6 guys over 10K. There's actually 5 guys over 10K today. Definitely have other options to where we don't have to jam in Westbrook. Don't think he's a guy I'm trying to force in today. I don't really like a lot of the expensive point guards just looking at this position. I don't know if I want to try and jam in Westbrook on the slate when there are other options we can go to. Oladipo, don't know if I want to go to him in 9,100, at least like not in cash games, not as an optimal play. John Wall's in a good matchup against Atlanta, but he's 8,900, seems a little bit too expensive. Kyrie's in a tough spot against Charlotte. Tyreek Evans is in a good matchup against the Lakers, but he seems a little bit too expensive as well. I just don't really like a lot of the expensive point guards today, at least just quickly looking over the slate. Not a lot of these options really attract me. I think we can go to this mid-tier today, and that we do have some options here that we can target. Kyle Lowry seems a little bit too underpriced at 7,600. Not the best matchup against OKC. He's definitely going to see Andre Robertson defensively, and like I said, that is not the best matchup, but Lowry did see a big price decrease. He's down to 7,600. I believe he was 8,600 in his last game. I know the Raptors played on Monday, so they are on a back-to-back. Lowry was like over 8K. Getting him in a nice discount today. Not the best matchup, but 7,600 for Kyle Lowry does seem a little bit too cheap. Think he is a good play in that mid-tier just given the price tag. I also really like Chris Dunn in that mid-tier, 7,200. He's in a great spot against the Knicks. They are not good defensively against the point guard. Dunn has played very well when these teams did play earlier this year. Dunn put up 43 DraftKings points in only 29 minutes. Dunn's just been playing well lately. Did have a stinker there against Boston where he only put up 14 DK points, but that was a tough matchup. But if you just look before that game, 38, 40, 38 DraftKings points. I know Dunn's having a solid game on Monday. The Bulls are on a back-to-back. Dunn's playing well Monday night, at least as I'm recording this video. So I think he's also a good option we can go to in that mid-tier. We do have some options in the 6K range that are very intriguing to where I don't think you have to go to this 7K price tier. But I feel like Dunn, even Kyle Lowry seems a little bit too underpriced. These guys could be options if you do want to go to that price range. You also got Donovan Mitchell at 7K. I think he's a good tournament play here. Tough matchup against the Warriors. He's probably going to see plenty of Klay Thompson defense, and that is not a good matchup. But Mitchell does have a ton of upside here, especially if this is a competitive game. We've seen Mitchell play very well in competitive games this year, and he has shown plenty of upside this year. Has had some really nice game. 49 DraftKings points against the Bulls, 48 against OKC. So definitely think Donovan Mitchell in tournaments, worth a look today at 7K. But if we are looking to go to the 6K range, I feel like there are a lot of good options here that we can target. Spencer Dinwiddie's in a good spot against the Pelicans. Good matchup. Pelicans really struggled defensively against the point guard. Dinwiddie did see a bit of a price increase. The price tag did rise a bit up to 6,900. But like I said, really good matchup against the Pelicans. Both of these teams do play at a fast pace. This game should definitely be high scoring. You do have to worry about some blowout potential here. Pelicans could blow out Brooklyn, but if it stays close, Spencer Dinwiddie at 6,900 could be a really good play. You got Kemba Walker for 300 left in them, who's also another guy that just seems way too underpriced. Kemba's at home here. Tough matchup against Boston, but when these teams did play earlier this year, Kemba had a very nice game of 44 DraftKings points. And we know how well Kemba plays at home, and he's at home today. And at just 6,600, like I said, that seems way too cheap for Kemba Walker. For him to get 6x tournament value on this price tag, you're only going to need about 39, 40 DraftKings points for 6x on this price. Kemba can totally do that. So I actually think he's a really good play in that mid-tier at 6,600. People are probably going to be shy away from the matchup. Boston, we know, is a good defensive team. But Kemba's at home. He's really cheap in my opinion. He feels a little bit underpriced. I think he's a good option in that mid-tier at 6,600 if you want to go to him. There is another guy a little bit under him that I really like today. I think is in a great spot. That is Jeff Teague at 6,100 going up against Denver. This is just such a good matchup for Jeff Teague. Denver really struggles defensively against the point guard. They are not a good defensive team when it comes to defending point guards. Jeff Teague had a very nice game against Denver earlier this year. 36 DraftKings points in 32 minutes, had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. And Teague is only 6,100 today. You only need 36 DK points for 6x value on this price tag. And Jeff Teague can totally do that. I think he's a great cash game play today. For cash game value, I'd say you want about 30, 31 DK points from him, at least if you're playing him in cash. It's very likely Teague is able to do that. He can return tournament value on this price as well. He can get 6, 7x. Really like Jeff Teague today. Probably one of my favorite plays on this slate. Just seems a little bit too underpriced for the matchup. Definitely a guy I'm going to be heavily invested into today. At 6,100 at point guard, I think he's a great option. And then if we're looking in this 5K range for options here, Jordan Clarkson at 5,600 in a tough matchup against Memphis. But with Lonzo Ball out, definitely think Jordan Clarkson's a guy we're going to want to consider. He obviously saw a price increase. DraftKings was very sharp. Rose his price. Was 4,700 in that game against Minnesota with Lonzo out. And Jordan Clarkson put up 42 DraftKings points in that game. Price rose up to 5,600. Definitely a play you're really going to have to consider now that he's 5,600. Obviously, if Clarkson was still 4,700, he'd probably just be in plug and play on this slate. But at his price tag at the rise, you do have to consider him. Still think he's a good option at 5,600. Clarkson's going to be heavily involved in this offense with no Lonzo. And he's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to play pretty much over 30 minutes every night. Really good option in that mid-tier, even with the price increase. Still think Jordan Clarkson's a great play today at 5,600. And then maybe if we are trying to find some value at point guard, we want to go cheap here, go 5K and under. I think we can also consider Josh Hart as a value play at 4,500, going up against Memphis with no Lonzo Ball. Josh Hart should be looking at nice minutes. Did play 39 minutes in their last game against Minnesota. Lonzo was out in that game, so was Brandon Ingram as well. Obviously, with Ingram being out, helped out Hart's minutes a bit. Obviously, with Lonzo being out, helped out as well. If Ingram remains out today, Josh Hart could be a guy we want to go to if we're looking for some value at point guard. He's pretty cheap at 4,500. He also saw a price increase. I still think if obviously Lonzo's going to be out, but if Brandon Ingram's out again, we can definitely consider Josh Hart, 4,500, going up against Memphis. He did play 39 minutes in that last game against Minnesota with both of those guys out. So definitely like Josh Hart as a value play today. If you're looking to go 5K and under, I think he makes a ton of sense. And then one more value play that I like at this position, 4,100, Andrew Harrison going up against the Lakers. I just think it's a great spot for Andrew Harrison. Been getting really nice minutes lately. Obviously a great matchup against the Lakers, an up and pace spot for Memphis. As long as Harrison's going to continue to see minutes, as long as he's going to play 30 minutes a night, you have to consider him, especially when he's 4,100, and especially today since the matchup against the Lakers is obviously a great matchup. I think Harrison, another value play we can go to at point guard if we're looking to go cheap at this position. That is what I'm seeing at point guard today. Looking over this position, just quickly looking at options, those are the guys that really catch my eye. Let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. Look at options here. Obviously up top here, Curry's going to be out today, so we can't consider him. Doubt I'm going to be on Oladipo at 9,100. Don't think I'm going to be paying up for him. Don't think I'm going to be paying up for Tyreke Evans, even though that's a good matchup against the Lakers. Just don't think I'm going to be paying up for a lot of these options like 8K and above. I think we can go to the 7K range, sort of similar to point guard. I think there are good options in the 7K, 6K range. First off, Bradley Beal, 7,400. I think it's a really good option here in the 7K price range. Great matchup against the Hawks. They are not a good defensive team against the shooting guard. And in only 27 minutes in their last game against the Hawks, Beal still managed to put up 35 DraftKings points in only 27 minutes. You do have to worry about some blowout concern here, but the game is being played in Atlanta, which should help with the blowout. And at 7,400, I think Bradley Beal a good cash game play. I think it's likely he returns cash game value on this price, and he has tournament appeal. He can return 6, 7x on this price. So overall, good play in my opinion in that 7K price range at shooting guard. I think Bradley Beal makes a ton of sense at 7,400. You also got Chris Dunn, Donovan Mitchell, who I talked about at point guard. They're shooting guard eligible. You can play them in that 7K range as well. If we're trying to look a little bit down at shooting guard, maybe go to this 5K range. We want to look for options here. You obviously got Jordan Clarkson here at 5,600, who you can play as shooting guard. I think is a good play today. Definitely like Justin Holiday here at 5,300, going up against the Knicks. A really good matchup against the Knicks. We know they are not a good defensive team, so we can definitely target the Knicks with some of these Bulls guys today. Obviously, Chris Dunn I like. I think Justin Holiday in this mid-tier is a good option. He's only 5,300. You only need about 26, 27 DK points in cash games from him to return value on this price. It's very likely Holiday does that. He'll play a ton of minutes. He's going to be on the court, especially if it is a competitive game, which this game should be competitive. Holiday's going to be on the court, going to be seeing minutes. Really like him in that mid-tier, 5,300. I think him and Jordan Clarkson are good plays in that 5K range. You do have Nick Batum sandwiched in between those two guys, but tough matchup for Batum. He seems underpriced at 5,400. But like I said, Boston really good defensively against the shooting guard. One thing to note though, Jaylen Brown, not expected to play for this game. He is doubtful, I believe. Could lean for a better matchup for Batum if Jaylen Brown is out. He is one of their better defenders. So that's something we might want to keep an eye on. Batum could be a tournament play if Jaylen Brown's out, which it looks like he's going to be. So he's a guy we might want to keep our eye on in that mid-tier shooting guard. But looking 5K and under at this position, if we're trying to find some value here, I think E'Twaun Moore going up against Brooklyn, really good value option at shooting guard. Just a cheap price tag for E'Twaun Moore. Great matchup against Brooklyn. We know this team plays at a very fast pace. They're not good defensively. Really concerning that E'Twaun Moore has only played 21 and 27 minutes his last two games. But just given the matchup against Brooklyn, I think we have to consider this guy. In a fast-paced game against Brooklyn, I would say it's likely E'Twaun Moore is going to have plenty of opportunities to score the ball. That's obviously what he's best at. When he has his good games is when he's scoring the ball, when he's putting the ball in the basket. So E'Twaun Moore at 4,600 could be a value option we want to go to if we're looking to go cheap at shooting guard. Do have Josh Hart there for 100 less, who I mentioned earlier. George Hill could be a play at that same price tag. I am recording this video on Monday night. The Kings are on a back-to-back. That is one thing to note. George Hill could rest here. Obviously, if he rests, that's going to open up plays like Buddy Hield. Even a guy like Frank Mason could become a really good value play. That's something we're going to have to track throughout the day on Wednesday. Like I said, I'm recording this on Tuesday night. But definitely keep an eye on that. Some of those Kings guys could rest, like George Hill, since they are on a back-to-back. And I think that's really it for shooting guard, at least for value here. Do have Andrew Harrison at 4,100, who I mentioned back at point guard, could be a play. Obviously, Frank Mason becomes a really good value option today if George Hill rests somehow. But as of now, we don't have any news on that, at least Tuesday night. But moving on to small forward, going to small forward and looking at this position, do have some studs here. LeBron, 11-7, going up against the Kings. Kevin Durant, 10-9, going up against the Jazz. I think if we're just talking about overall studs, like 10K and above, I would say KD's probably my favorite on this slate at 10,900. He just seems too underpriced. I feel like KD needs to be priced at least 11K every game. As long as Curry is not on the court and as long as he is out, I don't think Kevin Durant should be under $11,000. Just because of the usage he's going to see when he's on the court without Curry, the shots he's going to take, he's going to be relied on so heavily offensively. He had a pretty bad game against Cleveland the other day on Christmas Day and still managed to put up 51 DraftKings points. So Kevin Durant, I would say, is probably my favorite stud on this slate. If we're talking guys that are 10K and above, you do have LeBron at 11-7 going up against Sacramento. There's obviously nobody on that team that can really stop LeBron. He put up 69 DraftKings points against this team earlier this year. But at 11,700, you need almost 60, if not more than that, for him to really be even worth that price tag. And obviously LeBron can get 60, but I would much rather have Kevin Durant for almost 1K less, who I can reasonably project a hit value on this price. So I would say take the discount off of LeBron, go with Kevin Durant if you're looking to pay up at small forward. But looking for other options here in this mid-tier, Kyle Kuzma at 7,400. He does seem a little bit overpriced in my opinion, but the guy just continues to crush, especially with Lonzo Ball out. And as long as Brandon Ingram is out again, Kuzma is definitely a guy we're going to have to consider, even though he's expensive at 7,400. He put up 48 DraftKings points in their last game against Minnesota. That was a tough matchup, seeing defense from Jimmy Butler. But Kuzma still managed to get the job done. And he's playing a ton of minutes as well. He played 41 minutes in that game. So Kuzma's a really good option in that mid-tier, especially if Ingram's out again. He's a great play, in my opinion, at 7,400. Even though he seems too expensive, I think he's worth that price tag. The guy just continues to crush. But looking for other options, maybe if we want to go to this 5K price range, look for options here. I think Otto Porter at 5,900 is in a really good spot here, going up against the Hawks. Hawks really struggle defensively against wings. They really struggle to defend small forwards and power forwards. Porter does seem a tad bit expensive at 5,900. I'd say you want about 30 DraftKings points from him to really return value on this price. He can obviously do that, especially in a good matchup against the Hawks. So if you want to go to that mid-tier small forward, Otto Porter, 5,900 in a great matchup, could be a really good option in that mid-tier if you want to go to him. And you obviously have guys in this 5K range who I talked about earlier, maybe back at shooting guard, guys like Nicholas Batum, who I said could be an option if Jaylen Brown's out. Justin Holiday at 5,300 as well. So maybe if we're trying to find value at shooting or a small forward, we want to go 5K and under. I know Kelly Oubre's been playing really well lately. He's been seeing very consistent minutes. Since the last few games, 29, 28, 32 minutes, 30 and 26 DraftKings points the last two games. There's a good chance this game could go small, which could lead to Gortat coming off the court, at least if this game's competitive. And I would say Oubre's probably going to be out there closing out the game over Gortat. That was the case against Boston when he played 32 minutes. So I think we can consider Kelly Oubre at 4,700. He's been playing well lately, and like I said, I think this game goes small. I think Gortat gets run off the court here. I feel like they're not really going to need him, and Oubre could be closing out the game if it's a competitive game. So I definitely like him at 4,700. Wilson Chandler's been playing a ton of minutes. He's the same price as Oubre. I think I prefer Oubre because it's probably a tough matchup for Chandler. He's probably going to see some Jimmy Butler defense. Don't want to go there. You got Etuan Moore at 4,600 if you want to go to him against Brooklyn. I think he's in a good spot. But that's really what I'm seeing for small forward value, at least just quickly looking at this position. Those are the options that really stand out to me. So moving on to power forward, we're looking at this position. We definitely have studs here that we can pay up for. The Pelicans are in a great spot against Brooklyn. Obviously, we want to get some exposure to the Pelicans today. But DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis are both pretty expensive. Boogie is 11.5 and Anthony Davis is 10,800. I don't know if we can pay this price tag for these guys, at least in cash games. Obviously, both of them have a ton of tournament upside, especially if this game does stay close. But it's hard to decide which guy's going to go off any night, especially when both of these guys are healthy and active. I've said this before, but when one of them's out, you just play the other one. When Boogie's out, you play AD. When AD's out, you play Boogie. When they're both on the court, it's kind of hard to pick which guy's going to have the good game. Lately, it's been Boogie that's been playing solid. Anthony Davis has kind of been struggling lately. He hasn't really been having that good, or his games just really haven't been that good lately. This is one I'm definitely going to wrestle with all day because I feel like the Pelicans are obviously going to be able to put up a ton of points. They're going to dominate in this game. They're going to be able to dominate the glass. They're going to put up shots. And it's pretty likely that Boogie or AD, one of them has a monster game. Right now, if I had to lean one, I think I'd go with DeMarcus Cousins just because he's been playing a little bit better lately. But he's really expensive at 11,500. If we're just talking about overall slates or overall studs, like I said on the slate, I'd lean Kevin Durant, just any guy over 10K. I think KD's probably my favorite option here. But obviously, DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis are great tournament plays today. But if we do want to look for other options at power forward, I think Kevin Love at 8,300. Definitely a tournament play we can go to. Great matchup against the Kings. They really struggled to defend bigs. Kevin Love put up 38 DraftKings points in only 29 minutes against this team. Obviously, 38 DK points is not good when you're paying 8,300 for a guy. But Love does have a ton of upside in this spot. He's been consistent lately, and the minutes have started to trend up as well. He played 36 minutes against Golden State, 32 minutes against Washington, 30 against Milwaukee. If Kevin Love sees 30-plus minutes against the Kings, he should totally be able to go off in this game. So I think he's a really good tournament play at 8,300. With that price tag, he probably won't be very highly owned, and we know Kevin Love has a ton of upside. He can put up those random games where he goes off for like 35, 40 points, grabs like 15, close to 20 rebounds, puts up 60, 65 DK points. We saw him do it against the Warriors. So I definitely like Kevin Love at 8,300 as a tournament option if you're going to pay up at power forward or center. If we're looking for power forward options in the 6K price range, Nikola Mirotic, definitely a tournament play you could go to at 6,500. Playing at home against the Knicks. Mirotic does play very well at home. You see his home and road splits this year. At home, 37 DK points is average, whereas on the road, only 24 DK points. I'd imagine Mirotic is probably going to be guarded by Enes Kanter. Definitely a good matchup. Kanter is not a good defender. And Mirotic has shown a tournament upside lately, even with Markkanen in the starting lineup and Markkanen starting. Mirotic has still put up some really nice games, especially for tournaments. Makes him a very interesting play at 6,500. I think we could go to him in that 6K price range at power forward. And if we are looking in this 5K range at power forward, Serge Ibaka at 5,900 I think is definitely in play today going up against OKC. Sort of a revenge game. Ibaka played for OKC a couple years ago. But really the main reason I like Ibaka today is just because of how consistent he's been. Good matchup defensively. Probably going to see some defense from Carmelo Anthony. So we can go to Ibaka at 5,900. I think he's more of a cash game play just because of how consistent he's been. But he has shown tournament upside. He can put up 6x on this price. He can get you 36, 37 DK points. So if you're looking in that 5K price range at power forward, I think Serge Ibaka at 5,900, really interesting option going up against his former team, OKC. If we're trying to find some value plays at power forward and we want to go cheap at this position, I don't see a lot of value plays here that I'm absolutely in love with. This might be a position where we want to go to like the mid-tier or just look to pay up here. Maybe Mason Plumlee against Karl Anthony Towns. Plumlee has been starting at the 5 for Denver lately. He could be a play at 4,400, but I don't think he's like one of the first guys I'm putting in my lineup if we're just talking about value. You got Jordan Bell at 4,900, but this is a tough matchup against the Jazz, and Bell's price tag's kind of caught up. He's up to 4,900. So I think power forward, just looking at the position, you probably want to go to the mid-tier at this position or just try and pay up. Maybe for a guy like Kevin Durant, you want to play him here. You got Kevin Love, Kyle Kuzma if you want to play Kuzma at power forward. You got Mirotic, who I think is a really interesting tournament play. You could play Otto Porter, Serge Ibaka in that 5K range. Those are the options I'm really looking to target today. So moving on to center. Looking at center today, looking at this position. If you're not playing Boogie or AD here, there are some good options up top besides those two guys. Marc Gasol's in a great spot against the Lakers. He's very expensive, $8,800. The Grizzlies are on a back-to-back. I doubt Gasol would rest by any means, so I would expect him to play full minutes here. But even in the good matchup against the Lakers, at this price tag from Gasol, you need at least 45 DraftKings points, I would say, for him to really even return value on this price. Gasol can obviously do that. He has been playing well lately, been consistent. But I think, if I'm going to pay like $8,800 for a center, I'd probably just go up to the top, just go to Boogie or AD. Just at Gasol's price tag, I don't think we really need to spend that much on him. You do have options that are cheaper, but a lot of these guys as well seem a little bit underpriced. Jokic's price is kind of caught up. I know he was $7,900 on Tuesday. I had a lot of interest in him on Tuesday just at the price tag, but it started to catch up. He's up to $8,600. You got Porzingis for $200 less, so I think I'd actually prefer over Gasol today. So just feel like a lot of these options up top here are really overpriced in my opinion. So maybe if we are looking for other options at center that we want to go to, in this mid-tier there aren't really a ton of options that just really catch my eye. Dwight Howard could be a play going up against Boston. Really good matchup defensively. He should be able to dominate the boards against Al Horford. Horford is a very bad rebounder. This could be one of those games where Dwight goes off for 20 and 15 like he did against Milwaukee. I don't think Dwight's like one of the first guys I'm putting in my lineup today, but definitely a guy I'm going to be considering at center. He should be able to dominate the boards against Horford. Like I said, Horford's a bad rebounder. You could go to Dwight Howard at $7,200, but if we're looking like in this mid-tier, I don't see a lot of options at 6K range I really like, besides the guys I haven't talked about already. But looking in this 5K range, you got Serge Ibaka here who you can play. I think Steven Adams at $5,700 is just way too underpriced. This guy's too cheap. This guy's way too cheap for the production he's been putting up lately. At $5,700 in cash, you need about 28, 29 DK points from Adams. He's been averaging 30 DK points on the year just in his last 4 games. 26, 34, 27, 37 DraftKings points. This is a good matchup against Toronto. They have struggled defensively against the center this year. Definitely like Adams here. I think he's underpriced at $5,700. I think he's a really good option in that mid-tier. Prefer him over a guy like Gortat. Gortat's in a great matchup against the Hawks, but I feel like he's going to play only like 25 minutes in this game. I'd prefer Adams for 100 more if we're talking about guys like in that 5K price tier. And if we're trying to find value at center, we want to go cheap here. I think Jonas Valanciunas could be an interesting tournament play going up against OKC. I've said this before. We want to play Valanciunas when he's going to be going up against a team that has a really big center, a big true center. Guy like Steven Adams, guy like Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan. Those are the type of games where Jonas Valanciunas gets minutes. Never a guy I'm considering in cash games because he's so risky, but when he gets minutes, he'll grab rebounds, he'll score the ball. He can put up 30, 40 DraftKings points, put up 43 DK points in only 27 minutes against the Kings. So Jonas Valanciunas in some tournaments, if you're looking to go cheap at center in tournaments and you want to save some money here, you want a guy that has upside, I think Joe Val is a play if we're talking about guys that are sub 5K. You can do the revenge narrative with Robin Lopez at $4,500 going up against his former team, but I don't think we really need to go there. Lopez just hasn't been getting a lot of minutes lately. Definitely a risky play, but it's the revenge game. He's got the revenge narrative if you want to chase that. But that's really what I'm seeing at center. If we're just talking about value plays, those are the value plays that really catch my eye at this position. So I think that's pretty much it for center, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at @DFS_GOAT, or just leave a comment on this video down in the comment section. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and good luck tonight. Peace.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, she shaking fast. Yeah, she dropping slow. What? Yeah, neck on fro. Whoa, 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 whoa.